December 10th, 2019, the U.S. Congress unveils 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump. If Congress votes on these new articles, Donald Trump will become only the 3rd president ever impeached and the first, think about this, the first elected president ever impeached in his first term.
Donald Trump is to face impeachment charges.
Let's dig a little deeper into these 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump.
The House held its latest hearing today. The members of Congress. One is our solemn act, taking oaths to protect and defend the Constitution.
And it ain't gonna happen.
That we will defend the Constitution.
Will Trump be impeached? Or more importantly, was Trump set up on that phone call? And when John Bolton stated, "I'm not part of whatever drug deal Sonderland and Mulvaney are cooking up,"
to basically say, you tell Eisenberg, Ambassador Bolton told me, that I am not part of this whatever drug deal that Mulvaney and Sondland are cooking up.
What did you understand him to mean by the drug deal that Mulvaney and Sondland were cooking up?
I took it to mean investigations for a meeting.
That's Sonderland, the EU ambassador and big donor to Trump, and Mulvaney, Trump's chief of staff. Surely that's not a literal statement. I mean, drugs, casinos, money laundering, Sheldon Adelson, Israel, Likud Party, Chabad Lubavitch, Russia, Ukraine. Drug deal? Nah, must have been a slang term, or was it? Maybe the real Israel-Russiagate party truly starts here. Remember, change the story, change the lead. It's not a new concept.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
And you can't help thinking you should be looking somewhere else other than Clinton's semen stains on a blue dress and a perfectly appropriate nothing burger phone call to the Ukraine. Ever get the feeling someone was flanking you on an issue with a non-issue? You know, I think this has happened before. While we were all kept busy with Monica, no one was mentioning the Clinton Chinese technology transfer scandal known as Chinagate, were they? Remember that? The Chinagate fundraising scandal plagued the 1996 Bill Clinton-Al Gore campaign, and Hillary was very much involved. Chinagate, aka CommerceGate, is the most serious scandal in US history. Perhaps it's going to be bettered very soon. It involves the transfer of America's most sensitive technology, including but not limited to nuclear, missile and satellite technology, possibly in exchange for millions of dollars in contributions to the 1996 Clinton-Gore re-election effort and the Democratic National Committee. The scandal was an apparent scheme by the Clinton administration to sell seats on taxpayer-funded trade missions in exchange for campaign contributions to the 1996 Clinton-Gore campaign. Nalanda Hill, a business partner and confidant of the Clinton then Commerce Secretary Ron Brown, remember him? Testified in a court hearing during the litigation that the Clinton White House told Brown to, quote, delay the Judicial Watch case by withholding the production of documents prior to the 1996 elections and to devise a way not to comply with the court's orders, end quote. She also testified that Brown, who died in a plane crash, remember that one, during a trade mission to Bosnia, told her that Hillary conceived of the scheme to sell trade mission seats. Brown complained of being, quote, Hillary's blankety-blank tour guide, end quote. Poor old Ron Brown died in the plane crash, but he also had a big hole in his head, same size as a .45 caliber bullet. Again, remember that one? And here's the Democrats going on about Trump on a phone call? Are you kidding me? They are so rotten, all of them. The right and left hand of Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. Anyway, it seems a more sophisticated racket via Israel is now in place to keep the technology flowing to both China and Russia. Check out my channel for all the details. Like I said, with the Trump impeachment fiasco over a stupid nothing burger phone call minus the semen, should we be looking somewhere else? Or maybe in several places we can all walk and chew gum. This video provides 2 viewpoints for context, strategic and tactical. Strategic is easy. Population control, that's it. That's all it is. The final goal. And strategically, it's going well. Scare the hell out of the sheep, constant distractions, wars, ecological disaster, and hell, even alien invasion. Don't laugh. Wait for that one. The UN Habitat Smart Cities program's on the go. Financial crypto rollover happening right now, imminent. The Grand Chessboard and Rothschild's bastard sons and the East India Trading Company and the massive Belt and Road project. Then there is tactical, the day-to-day, and that's never quite so easy. Very difficult to predict, but look, let's have a go. Let's begin.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature, Mr. Beale, and I won't have it. Is that clear? You think you merely stopped a business deal? That is not the case. The Arabs have taken billions of dollars out of this country, and now they must put it back. It is ebb and flow, tidal gravity. It is ecological balance. You are an old man who thinks in terms of nations and peoples. There are no nations. There are no peoples. There are no Russians. There are no Arabs. There are no third worlds. There is no West. There is only one holistic system of systems. One vast and immane, interwoven, interacting, multivariate, multinational dominion of dollars. Petrodollars, electrodollars, multi-dollars, Reichmarks, rims, rubles, pounds, and shekels. It is the international system of currency which determines the totality of life on this planet. That is the natural order of things today. That is the atomic and subatomic and galactic structure of things today. And you have meddled with the primal forces of nature. And you will atone. Am I getting through to you, Mr. Beale? You get up on your little 21-inch screen and howl about America and democracy. There is no America. There is no democracy. There is only IBM and ITT and AT&T and DuPont, Dow, Union Carbide, and Exxon. Those are the nations of the world today. What do you think the Russians talk about in their councils of state? Karl Marx? They get out their linear programming charts, statistical decision theories, Minimax solutions, and compute the price-cost probabilities of their transactions and investments, just like we do. We no longer live in a world of nations and ideologies, Mr. Beale. The world is a college of corporations, inexorably determined by the immutable bylaws of business. The world is a business, Mr. Beale. It has been since man crawled out of the slime.
Never understand current events, geopolitical posturings, and the trade war with China and Rothschild's three amigos, Putin, Netanyahu, and Xi, until you understand that speech. The world is a business, run by the Rothschild Trading Guild, built on business covenants or contracts between sub-officers worldwide. One of the many core questions to ask in this video is Donald Trump a modern-day Franklin D. Roosevelt? No, seriously. We'll talk about it because the two were both utterly clueless as to who exactly was surrounding them. In Roosevelt's day, it was Soviet agents Harry Dexter White and Henry Morgenthau, Harry Hopkins, Lachlan Curry, Alger Hiss, Nathan Gregory Silvermaster, Frank Coe, Shlomo Adler, and too many more to mention, which was in fact just about the entire Roosevelt War Cabinet, and there were few radical Catholics amongst them, though there was a radical Catholic or two going after them. Then we might add you had Roosevelt's wife, who was a lesbian and pen friend of arch-communist Anna Louise Strong, who died in China, besties to the end with Mao. Don't worry, nothing to see here. And who wants to know boring history in the age of Q-drops and bone broth sales and cool entertaining rants? It's agreed Roosevelt did not have a clue, much like the clown prince and his entourage of Israeli firsters Sheldon and Miriam Adelson, Robert and Rebecca Mercer, Koch brothers, Benjamin Netanyahu, and on, including his Czechoslovakian-born wife, or two. He appears to like them from the old communist system, leading to some rumours here and there. Either way, I have no idea. It's just interesting. I mean, couldn't he got a wife from, I don't know, Idaho? Maybe Montana? And once you grasp the materials and technology transfers of the massive Soviet agent penetration of Roosevelt's administration, it will be easy for you to ponder the long persistent rumours about such people as the Ayatollah and Iran, and Hezbollah, who founded and funded them, and continue to do so. And why?
احتجاجات أو تظاهرات أو اعتصامات أو حركات شعبية معينة نجد أن الأمريكيين يتدخلون بسرعة قد لا يكون لهم.
The recent assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani brings out the factional fighting within Iran. A major opposition force to the soft-core revolutionaries in President Rouhani and Foreign Minister Zarif has now been removed. I've no doubt Soleimani knew about Rouhani's 6 years in Scotland, hanging with Jack Straw, doing his PhD in, of all things, Sharia law.
I present these students to receive the award of Doctor of Philosophy, Hassan Feridun, for a thesis entitled The Flexibility of Sharia, the Islamic Law, with reference to the Iranian experience.
Of course, Scotland. Where else do you do your PhD in Sharia law? And if you're hanging with Jack Straw, you're hanging with Lord Levi. You're hanging with Lord Jacob Rothschild himself. And it's right there in front of everyone, just like Ayatollah Khomeini coming in from a Paris commune with his German intelligence film crew. But no one seems to see it. He didn't come in from the deserts of Iraq. He came in on a hip, swinging 1970s Paris commune. And Zarif, that puffball of too many fine chocolate eclairs at Davos, is as, quote, Swiss banker as you can get. Not only was he educated and lived in the United States for 20 years, he was besties with Senator John Kerry. He also loved my old Foreign Minister, Julie Bishop of Australia, straight from my hometown. We trod the same turf in the chic Tudrish markets, and let me tell you, they are cool as hell. You got to get there. I've forgotten what I was going to say. Yeah, I never get sick of those mountains, ever. Julie, as you will see later in this video, is a close friend of Netanyahu and all the right people. Yeah, all of the right people. You'll see more of Julie in the video to come and all her friends. I actually stayed with friends of the Foreign Minister in his hometown of Hamza, Iran. They were in Swiss banking. Here is a multi-million-dollar apartment block he owns in North Tehran, right under the Malat Tower. Not bad, eh? I was told Soleimani slapped President Ahmadinejad across the face in the Iranian parliament when he stated it was time for the government to get out of people's bedrooms. If Soleimani is willing to slap a hardliner in the form of then President Ahmadinejad for suggesting a tame backing off of the moral police, what do you think he thinks of the puffball Swiss Davos devotees of Rouhani and Zarif? During the 1999 student revolt in Tehran, Soleimani was one of the IRGC officers who signed a letter to then President Mohammad Khatami. The letter stated that if Khatami did not crush the student rebellion, the military would. And it might also launch a coup against Khatami. The Iranian media reported in 2012 that he might be replaced as the commander of the Quds Force in order to allow him to run in the 2013 presidential election. He reportedly refused to be nominated for the election. According to BBC News, in 2015 a campaign started among conservative bloggers for Soleimani to stand for 2017 presidential election. In 2016 he was speculated as a possible candidate. However, in a statement published on the 15th of September 2016, he called speculations about his candidacy as, quote, divisive reports by the enemies, and said he will, quote, always remain a simple soldier serving Iran and the Islamic Revolution. Well, he died a simple soldier, and it will be the friends of the Swiss bankers Rouhani and Zarif who will benefit politically, and China, Russia and Israel who will benefit economically, as hardline impediments to the Belt and Road economic development of the region are removed. Remember, ex-Mossad heads are always praising the Iranian government as stable and easy to deal with, aware of political and economic consequences. If any of Soleimani's associates want to complain and not play the flag-stomping theatrics game, then Netanyahu, WikiLeaks, will release all their Swiss bank account numbers. So I'm sure plenty of method acting in the flag burning and stomping stakes will take place. And action! If they can light the flag. The funny, deep and personal economic relationship of Israel, Russia and China, contradicted by Iran's equally close personal economic relationship with Russia and China, becomes more clear with the passing of Soleimani. I'm sure the general's social and political circles got the message. Just like the old Russian nationalist General Lebed and his circle got the message when his helicopter crashed in southern Russia in 2002. Moral of story: don't overreach yourself and interrupt the City of London Swiss and German banker casting couch. Putin, Rouhani and Xi are so hot this year, they're getting into all the best parties. Once you've studied this enough, you'll understand nothing is what it appears. Nothing. You gotta go 5 layers deep. Just keep digging. By the time we're finished, you'll understand Israel is the Soviet Bolshevik backdoor into the United States, fully active just as the Harry Dexter White and Silvermaster spy rings were being broken up. The atom bomb secrets, espionage and sabotage of NASA, and the use of the goodwill and energy of the United States to build up Rothschild's personal golem creations all over the world. Ready for the rollover into the crypto electronic ledger system, the beast system. It's happening right now. Along the way, the system collects names and data points. Social media platforms like YouTube allow latitude to controversial channels and gather the data of the avid devotees. Whether it's the crazy whack jobs over at 4chan and 8chan, or Patrick Little with his Yids Rape Kids blimp, or Expel the Jew by 22, they always seem to get publicity.
Can I ask what this display is about? It's about what every country other than this country has ever done when faced the problems we face with Jews. Expel. Sex trafficking, capital of the world television. The Russian mafia that traffics isn't Russian at all. It's let go! Help! 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 Thanks, Jew.
Then we have the old white nationalist Red Ice Radio, where, coincidentally, Roger Stone first appeared in November 2014. And then Adam Green and his friend Christopher John Bjerknes.
The theme is Zionism, and it's a pretty massive project. And if anyone could help me with some funding, the white race between Russia and America controls almost all of the nuclear weapons in the world. That's one of the themes of my book, E = MC squared in the Jewish Agenda, is that they pitted us against one another. But if we were to ally with each other, we could preserve ourselves forever and eliminate nuclear weapons from all of our enemies. We control all of the food production in the world. We can control all of the other races and all of the other territories, and we're in a wonderful position to do it.
Yeah, the white race must rule. Isn't that right, Adam Green? Hopefully by the end of this video, once you've understood the depths of the penetration of the Roosevelt administration, you can begin to understand that it has never stopped, although it has changed forms with new faces, new places, new rat lines, but it's the same theme and the same energy. And once you understand that, you'll understand how it is such events as shifting the entire US high technology base has gone on so long and no one's bothered to stop it. Because the levels of penetration right now under AIPAC, the America-Israel Public Affairs Committee, and 1,000,001 other Israeli first organizations, the penetration is so great, the United States completely lost its sovereignty long ago. It hasn't been penetrated. The United States, right throughout its entire political, industrial, and social systems, has been occupied.
Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. You are a lion's cub, Judah. You return from the prey, my son. Like a lion, he crouches and lies down. Like a lioness who dares to rouse him. The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until he to whom it belongs shall come, and the obedience of the nations shall be his.
A simple question. Does Trump need information from the Ukraine and a compromising phone call listened into by 20 different White House officials when he is the quisling of Bibi and his vast mega spy group based out of Israel? Please consult my previous videos, especially 1, 2, and 3, but don't stop there, watch the lot. If he needs dirt on Biden, just ask Bibi. Why call the Ukraine? Where Netanyahu has high-level contacts who can do all the work for Trump, why send Giuliani? It doesn't add up. So I ask, is King Bibi trying to get leverage over the fresh clown prince of DC? Is that why Trump handed Microsoft Israel, officially, the Pentagon cloud security contracts a few months after the call? Let us ask these questions and see where we end up. Number one, Trump is not going to be impeached. Not impossible, but it's more great theatre, kind of like Trump's previous job with the WWF.
What's going on over here?
To be impeached would require a 2/3 majority of the House, and the chances of that happening are extremely slim, next to nil. Just that simple self-evident factor alone should have you squinting suspiciously given the mainstream media infatuation with the issue. Do you have the feeling, as I do, that we should be looking in another direction right now?
At WrestleMania 23, I didn't think he would do it!
So what's going on? Well, let us range together over wide open historical plains, at least superficially. This is not an academic production, it's information designed to point the viewer in the right general direction. But the exact GPS coordinates will have to be refined over time, and ways to make the information politically useful have to be formulated. And what good is endless information and endless internet links if you can't make it actionable grassroots intelligence? Keyword actionable in the 3D world, not on your favourite stupid social media platform. This is where we must move urgently. As we move through wide time frames and undulating geographical and political landscapes, we'll go all the way back to World War II to gather a little understanding of the Trump phenomena and all that swirls around the impeachment circus. It's going to be a bit like speed dating, fast and superficial, a bit all over the place, but you'll work it out. I put to you there are bigger fish to fry in this impeachment barbecue, and the Trump administration is actually happy at the moment for the attention to be on a phone call in the Ukraine and not on something stated whimsically by John Bolton.
Of this whatever drug deal that Mulvaney and Sondland are cooking up.
But that's just speculation. You know, as I said, Sheldon Adelson, casinos, drug money laundering, Deutsche Bank. And then there is the recently produced Australian 60 Minutes production on Crown Casino operations and close friend of Netanyahu, James Packer, whose other best friend, Australian media mogul Kerry Stokes, just happens to be the best friend of the Australian Foreign Minister who's been completely ignoring my calls for the last 4 years. Boy, all personal friends of Netanyahu. Fancy that. No wonder I had a bit of trouble in my home state of Western Australia. Who knew? And here's Kerry Stokes with Henry Kissinger, 2002 Beijing. And here he is picking up the Rothschild Bible for $14 million. Boy. Little old Western Australia, my home state, filled with intrigue all the way to the very top. Boy, I think it's all starting to unfold, don't you? So if you want to understand that comment and the Russian-Israeli drug trafficking angle, then head on over to former CBS producer Daniel Hopsicker's website and he'll set you straight. Question is, did Trump get set up for that phone call for reasons which we will discuss? Hear me out. It would help if you were a bit up on the history of Israeli and Soviet espionage, and to start, you might try the videos on my channel mentioned previously. Regardless, the timeline follows. A month before the call on June 18, 2019, a major series of drug busts are imminent, implicating the Russian-Israeli Likud Party, organised crime mob, and Chabad Lubavitch. Remember them? Russian organised crime cult, Jared and Ivanka's religious lunatic Hasidim of choice, friends of Vlad, Bibi, Donald, and Sheriff Israel, and Roger Stone.
You've got all of this craziness surfacing about Sheriff Israel. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't even want to report on it, folks. Let's just say Sheriff Israel, Hillary Clinton supporter, and has had some unbelievable accusations made about him in the past that could lead to blackmail. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know what is going on with this stuff. It's so crazy.
16 tons of coke in a Philadelphia port linked to Russian oligarch Oleg Deripaska, good friend of Vladimir Putin, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Paul Manafort. And the shipping company, MSC, or Mediterranean Shipping Company, was inextricably linked to the huge Chinese company HNA Group chaired by Wang Zhan, who came to an untimely death in a small French village falling off a wall back in July 2018.
According to Reuters, Chinese conglomerate HNA Group co-chairman Wang Jian died during a business trip in France on July 3rd, and what local police said appeared to be an accidental fall from a wall while posing for a photograph. Sources familiar with the matter said Wang was in charge of HNA's strategy and ran day-to-day operations. His death complicates the troubled conglomerate's efforts to restructure and pay off borrowings, and could increase pressure on HNA to reveal more about its criticized ownership.
Maybe we could ask the Blackwater boys and Eric Prince about it. He spends a lot of time in China these days, hint hint. You know, drugs, drug money laundering, private security contractors, you know how it goes.
While Afghan narcotics were growing, the firm formerly known as Blackwater remained the top beneficiary. According to the U.S. Inspector General of Afghanistan, the Pentagon paid the infamous mercenary group more than $500 million taxpayer dollars to eradicate Afghan narcotics. Yet the opposite has happened. Afghanistan remains the world's largest source of opium, with 6,400 tons produced last year, a 35-fold increase since 2001.
And then there is this tidbit of speculation on MCS and one of their cruise ships and the Israeli security guards fighting off pirates. Eric Prince, hint hint. I was sniffing around this point when I came across Zim Shipping. Remember Zim Shipping and their breaking of their World Trade Center lease back in 2001? Anyway, that's another rabbit hole. Import-export, ports, Haifa port in Israel, Chinese running of the port. Let's stop there. I don't want to get lost. Anyway, you remember Nachum Goldberg in Australia? He was a high-end Chabad smurf for Likud, laundering over $100 million in Australia alone in the late 1990s. And they have links way back to Crown Casino and all sorts of skullduggery, including the Packer clan, who are good friends with Benjamin Netanyahu, and also the old Jewish mafia don of Australia, Abraham Safran.
In an historical sense, Abe Safran would have to be classified as Australia's most vile, amoral and absolutely corrupt criminals.
Who was dealing heroin into the country with Kerry Packer way back when. In fact, they built Sydney on the heroin drug trade.
Supersized seizure. Tons of cocaine crammed into containers on a cargo ship.
15,000 kilos, that's a lot.
Tonight, the history-making haul and how it all came to be in our backyard.
So, massive drug importation and money laundering, Russian oligarch with strong ties to Putin, Netanyahu, Manafort, and the Trump administration, along with Chinese shipping companies, Deutsche Bank, Zim Shipping, Haifa Port, Chinese Port Control, and the Belt and Road Project, and on, and on, and on. And to know just how on and on and on you should go, watch this 5-minute segment from the documentary The Dubious Friends of Donald Trump. This segment focuses on the world diamond king Lev Leviev, a Russian-Israeli Jew, member of Chabad Lubavitch, and literal organised crime boss, besties with, you guessed it, Putin and Bibi, amongst many others. You'll see his links to China and Amsterdam, home of the diamond trade, but also home to the Russian-Israeli controlled ecstasy production and distribution market. Want the best party drugs? Go to Tel Aviv. Or get to know an Israeli Defense Force conscript taking their year off compulsory service with their 100 ecstasy pills shoved down their underpants, funding their little holiday. Probably some great meth on them too. If you're in Australia, you'll most generally catch them in Sydney, their first stop. Hint hint, customs. I'd also like to add Serbia's very direct role in all of this with their close ties with Russia. They are central to a lot of drug smuggling and training camps for thugs. Ask the Moss shooter in New Zealand. He spent a lot of time there and loves his Serbian Czechnik music when going on killing sprees. You'll also find intrigue right here in Kuala Lumpur, where I edit this video from. Serbian Montenegrin passport holders popped a Hamas member on the streets just down the road from me as he walked to his local mosque for morning prayers. You'll grasp it all when you get Oleg Deripaska and Serbia, Montenegro and all the intrigue. You can do it. Patch it together. Watch.
Our investigation takes us to one of the wealthiest diamond traders in the world, Lev Leviev.
Lev Leviev is known as the King of Diamonds.
Our search leads us to Siebel, a Dutch jeweler's chain. We soon see that Levayev is a man with friends in the highest places. He is from the former Soviet Union and calls Vladimir Putin a true friend. Levayev is an Israeli with a direct line to Prime Minister Netanyahu. In 2015, his company closed a multi-million-dollar deal with Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law and advisor. So there is every reason to investigate Lev Levayev. Who is this diamond trader? And what does his partnership with Donald Trump entail? In 1956, Levayev is born to a Jewish family in the Soviet Republic of Uzbekistan. He and his parents emigrate to Israel, where, at the age of 15, he becomes a diamond cutter. He is successful, and he expands his business to an international diamond empire, including to the former Soviet Union. In 1990, the government there gives him a share in the diamond industry.
They were just handing out the crown jewels left and right, and they were basically, you know, the oil and gas business. They had programs that basically handed off a lot of the mineral wealth, the diamond industry. At the end of all that, the benefits of much of the mineral wealth was transferred to a tiny group.
Levayev is among that select group, the oligarchs. He has excellent connections with the Russian government, particularly with Vladimir Putin.
יש לי מכרות זהב ויהלומים. מתוך 10 מכרות שאנחנו בודקים ומשקיעים הרבה כסף באקספלוריישן, אחד מצליח.
Levayev is known as a very religious man. He is a member of the Jewish Chabad movement, which maintains good relationships with the Kremlin.
כל הרבנים כתוב, גם בחב"ד, שבן אדם עשיר צריכים לכבד אותו. כשהקדוש ברוך הוא מכבד אותו, נותן לו את הכסף, גם אנחנו צריכים לכבד אותו.
In 2011, Levayev sells one of his Dutch businesses to a Chinese company. The managing director is now a Hong Kong businesswoman, Fong Hung Lo. If we follow the money, we find out that this woman heads an infamous group of companies with which Levayev has connections. The 88 Queensway Group.
The 88 Queensway Group is a sprawling web of companies that many of which are headquartered at the 10th floor of 2 Pacific Place, 88 Queensway in Hong Kong. They're controlled by a small group of Chinese and Hong Kong-based investors. The senior officials within the 88 Queensway Group have been involved in a wide range of controversial business activities, and some even border on criminal conduct, including arms trafficking, diamond smuggling, bribing high-level officials.
According to the American government, the 88 Queensway Group is a safety risk. That's why J.R. Maley writes an investigation report on 88 Queensway for the American Department of Defense. In that report, we repeatedly find the name Lev Levayev.
The Queensway Group has worked pretty closely with Mr. Levayev and his associates over the past decade or so.
It turns out that Levayev himself also holds shares in a company within the 88 Queensway Group. Who are the people behind this shady business network?
The person who's ultimately behind the 88 Queensway Group, well, his name isn't anywhere on corporate documents. He has 7 different aliases, and none of them appear on any documents. This businessman, whose name is Sam Pa, is reported to be a former Chinese intelligence operative. He was involved in weapons trafficking in the 80s and 90s.
Meet Mr. Sam Pa. We stumble across him in Angola, but also in numerous other African countries.
Essentially, the business model of the 88 Queensway Group appeared to be setting up shop in diplomatically isolated and financially desperate countries operating around the world and coordinating deals with kleptocratic governments, often multi-billion-dollar deals.
In Zimbabwe, the 88 Queensway Group is said to support the dictator Mugabe's security service, to be involved in election fraud, and in diamond smuggling.
So, we have casinos and drug trafficking and drug money laundering, weapons trade and diamond smuggling. We have links all the way from Tel Aviv to Moscow to New York and even my own hometown, Perth, Western Australia, where James Packer, Crown Casino boss, is besties with Netanyahu, and my home state's media mogul, Kerry Stokes, who's besties with the former Australian Foreign Minister who gave me so much grief. Not to mention the Rothschild Bible. I mean, geesh, what a gift. Things are becoming clearer, yeah. Good old Western Australia, out of the way and full of ex-South African Special Forces kill squads and South African intelligence. And if you didn't know, no one was closer with Israel than apartheid South Africa. All the old friend network is sitting in sunny Western Australia, which kind of melts together with my home state's mining billionaires who operate worldwide. Anton Billis and Michael Moran Shamazan, aka Mick Many Names. He loves to write his name in 14 different ways on mining deals. He and his ilk would be an utter joke bunch of chuckleheads from way out back of beyond, but for the unlikely fate they pegged out some of the richest gold and lithium deposits in the world back in the 1980s. At the same time, they were laundering drug money along the way. The old network stretches to police, prison officers, ANZ banking officials who surprisingly spent their post-university years in a kibbutz in northern Israel, linked in totally with the Finks bikie gang and notorious bikie of Australia, Troy McCanty, who is a high-level Mason along with his father, who is besties with the former Inspector of Police and Master Mason of Perth, Inspector Steve Jancic, or they keep it in the family in Western Australia. These are the same people that half beat me to death in jail on 9/11/2012. If you didn't know, laundering drug money through mining exploration companies is very popular. It's all in the Panama Papers. And these guys are all in my UN refugee application, which is making them extremely nervous. Link to the application in PDF is below. It's a great read, fully indexed and linked internally and externally to audio-visual material. You'll love it, I promise. In fact, they're so nervous they offered me a job in Brussels with an apartment just down the road from NATO headquarters. Old Mick loves to drink early before lunch and hang with bikies like the old head of the Comancheros bikie gang out of Australia. Notoriously involved with drugs and weapons, he had an unfortunate run-in with gelignite and his vehicle's ignition system in early 2019 in Athens, Greece. That's Jay Malkoon, and he and Mick Moran Shamazan were more than casual acquaintances. When Hells Angels drug trafficker Wayne Schneider was murdered in Thailand, Jay Malkoon sat out the heat in Mick's Dubai apartment, sipping pina coladas. 'Cause old friends, you know, they look out for each other. And if you think Mick Many Names, aka Michael Shamazan, is a low-end player, you need to think again. He may be a chucklehead, but he's head of Exchange Minerals, which is a huge multi-billion-dollar mining exploration company with offices in Sydney, Dubai, Brussels, hello NATO, Moscow, and New York. Small-time redneck from outback WA sure made it good. Now you see the links: drugs, money laundering, Chabad, South Africa, Western Australia, and weapons to Africa, where they do a lot of business making sure the dark-skinned peoples never get access to their own resources. Now you see why they came after me the way they did back in 2009 when I took all this material to a high-profile court case.
This is actually very big, bigger than you think. They haven't got a hope in hell. Seriously.
Now you know why I was working with government analysts in Iran and am currently on the run in Malaysia with 3 warrants for my arrest, but strangely, none of the alcoholics at the Australian Federal Police or Western Australian State Counter-Terrorism appear too interested in an extradition process. After all, they're old friends with Anton Billis and Mick Shamazan, Jay Malkoon and Chabad Lubavitch. Just one big industrial-scale, ongoing Iran-Contra worldwide guns for drugs operation. Thank you, Daniel Hopsicker. You really need to thank him. He doesn't get a lot of views and he refuses to get a cat and throw in a Q drop and an alien invasion story.
We actually believe that there is a colony on Mars that is populated by children who were kidnapped and sent into space on a 20-year ride.
Just good solid intel, so most of you won't be interested. But I'm always interested. Now, let's string this circumstantial case together. So in my highly speculative timeline and seemingly disparate series of events, such as Intel withdrawing $11 billion, that's billion with a B, in investment from its Israeli CPU foundry in June 2019 after the 10nm CPU production disaster, which not a lot of people are talking about, in fact, no one is talking about. And remember, Intel in January 2019 had just stated publicly it was to make that $11 billion investment. What changed? Of course, they could not make that state-of-the-art 10nm processor in America, as Americans are really dumb, you know, but that's another issue, isn't it? And then Trump hands over directly the Pentagon cloud contract to Bibi and Microsoft Israel and their Israeli military intelligence CEO, Asaf Rappaport. That was October the 25th, 2019. But Trump first let it be known publicly he wanted Amazon out of the running on July 17th, 2019. And the week before that, John Bolton is having a sharp exchange with Trump's big donor buddy, Gordon Sondland, stating on July 10, "I'm not part of whatever drug deal Sondland and Mulvaney are cooking up." You thinking what I'm thinking? Has King Bibi applied the hot irons to the Clown Prince with all this impeachment talk?
You want me to produce your war? Not a war, it's a pageant. We need a theme, a song, some visuals. We need, it's a pageant. It's like the Oscars, that's why we came to you.
Well, after that shotgun scatterblast of information, let's go ranging even further and wider and see if we can speculate, at least in the ballpark, if not hit an early home run. Do you remember the great movie Wag the Dog, starring Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro and Anne Hirsch? Released in 1997, it was a Barry Levinson production. It continues to be a must-watch on how politics really works and how they fake it and manufacture the news. For many of you, this is hardly new and exciting information, but let's show my favourite clip anyway. In this scene, Robert De Niro is explaining to his sidekick, actress Anne Hirsch, how easy it is to distract the American population. His job is to get the news, a sexual scandal involving the president, off the front page before the election. Hence they decide to stage a fake war. In this clip he says, quote, "Change the lead, change the story. It's not a new concept."
Tell me this again.
Lanny?
Tell me again.
Look, don't worry about it. It's nothing new. During Reagan's administration, 240 Marines killed in Beirut. 24 hours later, we invade Grenada. That was their MO. Change the story, change the lead. It's not a new concept. Change the story, change the lead. It's not a new concept. Like people we touched on, we'll talk more about it.
We can't afford a war.
We're not going to have a war. We're going to have the appearance of a war.
We cannot afford the appearance of a war.
What'll it cost?
But they would find out.
Who's going to find out? The American people?
Exactly.
Who's going to tell them? Huh? What'd they find out about the Gulf War? One video of one bomb falls down a chimney, blows up the building. The building could have been made out of Legos.
You really want us to go to war?
That's a general idea.
With who?
I'm working on it.
I hope you make the connection to the present. There is zero basis for impeaching Trump. I mean, really, there's practically zero. It's obviously not going to work, especially with the 2/3 required. And if they want to apply the infamous quid pro quo standard, they would be impeaching every American president that ever lived. Remember when Kennedy got a quote quid pro quo from Premier Khrushchev that was kept hidden from the American people? In return for removal of missiles from Cuba, the US would remove missiles from Turkey aimed at the Soviet Union. The deal was kept hidden, and deals like this are standard practice for every US administration since day dot. They're always doing deals behind the scenes. Quid pro quo. As for the aspect it was for dirt on a political rival, well, I agree, that was strange. Why would Trump bother with the Ukraine when Trump's best friend Netanyahu totally controls the US telecommunications sector and has technology backdoors into everything? What is it exactly that Trump wants to know? Israeli companies literally run everything from billing services, that's Amdocs, to crime-fighting databases, that's Promise software still in use, stolen from the DOJ by Mossad agents Rafi Eitan, to critical infrastructure security like electrical grids and government VoIP encryption and banking security and automatic teller machines, that's Rad Group and Zohar Zisapel, to the DEA and other law enforcement data intercepts. That's the Israeli company Variant, and on, and it gets way worse than that with the Pentagon cloud security being handled by Microsoft Israel now. Well, so far it's handling it, but that ain't over yet. And that's Asaf Rappaport, Israeli military intelligence, graduate of the Talpiot program, Unit 8200, and he and his friends in Israel do all the security updates for the Windows Security Center and have done since 2009. Now that is 86% to 90% of the world's computers, and that is the keys to the kingdom, kiddies. Everyone from grandma to your local school to Boeing to the White House to corporations to the Pentagon. Just watch the other videos on my channel and you will start to cry at the absurdity of how all of this has been made possible. It is possible because US high-tech and national security in general have not been penetrated, it's been occupied. With all of the above in mind, what makes you think Trump needs a quid pro quo from the Ukraine? Why does Trump need to get on the phone and ask? Was the chief clown set up by Israel and Russia to maintain the pressure on him? Because as discussed, not long after it all broke, Trump personally stopped the Pentagon cloud being awarded to the top pick Amazon and handed it to Microsoft Israel. Think about it. Was the clown prince set up to pressure him to snuggle on up to Bibi and Vlad some more? Anyway, if Trump goes, it will be because Vlad and Bibi have no use for him anymore. Pressure is mounting to cease Israel doing business with China and profiting off US tariffs and sanctions on technology trades. So, like any good whore, once the shekels no longer roll in, Bibi will dump Pimp Daddy America and head on over fully with Pimp Daddy Vlad and Xi as soon as the opportunity arises. But that might not be so easy now as the best laid plans of mice and men go astray. So the short answer is no, Trump will not be impeached, and Trump is going to win the 2020 election as Apple and Intel announce huge new investments in the United States. Massive new infrastructure projects and technology releases. Maybe some high-tech innovation they've been hiding for years. Electrogravitics or some crazy Tom Mearden, John Bedini style free energy thingy, which will of course be presented as a tech innovation jointly shared by the blessing unto the nations Israel and the United States, and the BIRD Cooperation Agreement. the Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation, which I posted on in the previous video. Add in low unemployment and a booming stock market because foreign currency is pouring into US banks as the controlled financial collapse begins, but that's another story and we will go into it briefly. Factory production is in massive oversupply, from washing machines to smartphones to cars and mining equipment to food supplies. There is overproduction everywhere, so print that fiat baby and print it fast and send me $1 million. I'll stimulate economic activity all day for free. You always save the best for last. And as I stated almost 2.5 years ago in the video titled Alex Jones Admits Trump, a Product of Army Intelligence, the hero archetype when you're writing the Goldman Sachs Council on Foreign Relations script must go through many trials before ultimate victory. You remember post-2008 financial collapse and the pillaging of $5 trillion from the US taxpayer? Well, now the enemy is not the worldwide, borderless, international, predatory banking and financial class. It's bearded men pretending to be ladies.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am. I need your corporate number.
And rednecks in Charlottesville chanting,
Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us!
And you always leave the best for last. Again, Wag the Dog and Dustin Hoffman.
Big mistake, big mistake. You got to bring him in by stages. Big mistake, reveal Schumann before the election.
How so?
Sweetheart, Schumann is the shark, okay? Schumann is Jaws. You know, you have to tease him. You got to tease him. You don't put Jaws in the first reel of the movie. It's the contract, sweetheart. The contract with the election, whether they know it or not, is vote for me Tuesday, Wednesday I will produce Schumann. See, that's what they're paying their $7 for. You know what I mean?
So get ready for your Federal Reserve cryptocurrency and negative interest rates. Some good times, actually, despite all the doom and gloom. Though some people do differ. And we'll mention the more doom and gloom scenario in a minute. Remember, the ultimate backing for your fiat currency is not gold. It's the most powerful, technologically advanced military in the world that can enforce contracts or rule sets, hold ground, and control access to resources. Let's see China collect the $3 trillion it's owed. I mean, please, what are they going to do? Tow Staten Island back to Beijing? What, China's going to dump all those US bonds? Fine, demand for US bonds is high with so much currency pouring into US banks. And ooh, China's single brand new aircraft carrier, along with their crappy old Ukrainian aircraft carrier, going to take over the world and deal a deadly blow to the US 5th and 6th Fleet. No, I think not. They can barely land on the damn things. Where is the proper analysis of reality? The Chinese generals and the Chinese elite of the Chinese Communist Party are so busy stashing cash in their Swiss bank accounts, they don't even have time to run the country. And the Chinese yuan, nobody wants it. Everyone wants US dollars, British pounds sterling, and euros. They're not interested in Chinese yuan. The Chinese business and political class and military class are dumping their yuan so fast it's not funny. The capital flight rules are so strict they're having to shove precious stones in their rear ends just to get their money out of the country. But China, who can't even stock its army with decent recruits, drawing from 1.5 billion people, most of whom are undernourished peasants from the interior. But the joke analysts all over the web, whether they're mainstream media or alt media, continue the garbage narrative that China's going to take over the world. The only thing the Chinese generals are doing is sharing Chivas Regal and Australian King Tiger prawns with the Israelis, Germans, British, American and Russian arms dealers at the weapons trade shows, all giggling themselves silly, collecting their Swiss bank accounts and making lots of cash. China is one gigantic paper dragon you could set on fire in 10 seconds flat. But that's not a great narrative if you're trying to build a gigantic military-industrial complex and keep everyone under the War Powers Act and virtual executive dictatorship. Trust me, they'll all be shaking hands at Davos and Bilderberger once the robots and drones are fully in place. The shift from fiat paper to fiat crypto is upon us, the beast system. It's happening 100% within 12 months, no ifs, no buts. As greater and greater financial insecurity grows, along with an endless stream of environmental catastrophe stories,
How dare you!
the US financial systems burst with foreign capital pouring in. No one wants paper dragon Chinese yuan, they want US dollars. When the time is right, the official financial crisis will be announced and controls put on all US capital flows out of the country. Fortunately, the infinitely wise US Federal Reserve has their crypto system in place, and an easy rollover into their system is ready to go. In conjunction behind the scenes will be the Bank of International Settlements in Bern, Switzerland. You want your money? Line up for the Fed phone app. They've even stated publicly they may bypass the retail banks and put money directly into people's online crypto accounts. A new range of stable crypto tokens are due out shortly, and the timing is interesting. One such crypto coin is SGA, put out by Saga Monetary Technologies. A stable, regulated token linked with the IMF's special drawing rights, which back the tokens, linking them directly with US dollars, euros, British pound, Japanese yen, and the Chinese yuan. It acts like a USDT or US dollar tether, linking all the major currencies. This ties in with demands for an ESDR or Electronic Sovereign Drawing Rights system based in Bern, Switzerland, and the Bank of International Settlements. Saga is mentioned in the World Bank paper discussing the future of cryptocurrencies, so it appears anointed. The point is to bring all worldwide currencies to parity. This makes a one-world electronic currency stable and feasible. Hence your volatile, highly speculative Bitcoin has no place in the world to come. Perhaps they will pay out like they paid a fixed price for gold in the early 1930s, who knows? And the timing, late December, everyone is winding down, giving credence that the electronic token is not meant for the common folk, but insiders in the prelude to the worldwide financial rollover into crypto. With so much foreign currency poured into the US financial system, you now have a worldwide demand for the Fed crypto. You want your money? Then get your US Fed phone app. Want to complain at a country, corporate or individual level? Go tell it to the Zionist-controlled US State Department and the US 5th and 6th Fleet commanders. The demand is no longer dependent on the petrodollar, and they are phasing out oil as we speak. The demand is in the manufactured financial crisis, 50 years in the making, when Nixon and Kissinger took the US off the gold standard. They knew what they were doing. They knew the numbers would never make sense. The fiat US Federal Reserve crypto will not be backed by gold or goodwill. Though gold will still be included in the Electronic Sovereign Drawing Rights, or ESDR, it won't back the central bank cryptocurrency. That will be backed by the US-Israeli military-industrial complex and the cyber domination of Israel. Its intellectual base will be the mountains of economic data at the fingertips of the people that matter in London, Bern, Zurich, Frankfurt, and New York, all linked by a certain organised crime, quasi-religious, allegedly ethnic, amorphous, tribal trading guild. The economic data will dictate the electronic printing presses, and it is actually a good way to do it, till you upset the people or the AI that switch your phone app on and off. Want to cry? Want to eat? Then your social score in the Smart City Gulag apartment block better be good. Testing now in China. The system will edge its way solely into the Bank of International Settlements in Switzerland, and the middle class of America and elsewhere will be wiped out by negative interest rates in the futures market and whatever environmental catastrophe they can cook up with HARP or whatever tech they're using these days.
How dare you!
That's the horrible, nasty scenario many contemplate so as to, quote, seal the deal, as it were. I'm not so sure. Don't know about you, but I never even noticed the 2008 crash. I never watched the telly and I was in Australia. I know plenty of people did hurt, and I suspect this crossover will be similar in pain. Most people are so in love with the idea of Big Brother handouts, they'll happily walk into the beast system. The exact tactical unfolding remains to be seen. I see a lot of pushback. A lot of managerial class in places like intelligence, the Pentagon and Washington are not happy, as well as the powerful collective of American Jews who have no wish to emigrate to Soviet Israel, and have no wish to bear the cross that so rightfully belongs to the men in suits in Tel Aviv, London, Moscow and New York. They have kids and a conscience. Many are ideologically wed to the basic precepts of freedom and the US Constitution. They are a force to be reckoned with. I guess we'll find out soon enough, but here's the fear porn version. Prepare yourself. Problems all around the world, economically driving worldwide rates down, except the US dollar. China trade deal emerges for Trump 2020 run-in, end Q1 perhaps. Fed starts talking rates up, flooding global investors into the US dollar yield. Mid-June 2020, a security event leads to a global tightening of population movement and a dissident roundup. Early August, catastrophic event or a series of running events takes out West Coast. All those nuclear reactors built on that fault line. Whatever, use your imagination. Alien space monkeys. Collapse in confidence in the US dollar leads to futures market spike and hoarding. World trade dislocation. Physical shortage of produce, even water. Not to worry, Israel has all the technology required to rectify the situation. IMF steps in with global solution, the ESDR DLT, or Electronic Sovereign Drawing Rights Distributed Ledger Technology, replaces the US Treasury system. This includes Bitcoin. Bitcoin mandatory pre-dollar collapse value purchase order or confiscation. Though still valuable, it's not going to be used in the world to come. Global rates everywhere go deep negative, wipes out what little middle class is left. Universal credit launched, global taxation to save the planet.
How dare you!
Age of communitarianism begins. UN Habitat Smart Cities program designed in Israel and most likely manufactured in China. Agenda 21 is born in 2021. Don't want to do any of this? Still dreaming of freedom from the banksters in your anarcho-syndicalist workers' commune paradise with a picture of Julian Assange, Noam Chomsky and Edward Snowden on the wall? Watch too many John McAfee crypto freedom videos? Then your backdoored phone, wallet, desktop, laptop, or the exchange where you deposited your treasure will be hacked and taken one way or the other. Ever wonder about the endless mass hacking and theft of hundreds of millions in crypto? No one is ever caught, and no one seems to know how they do it. I know how they do it. Anonymity gonna save you? Tor gonna save you? No, every bit of hardware in your electronic device is serial numbered and tied to you one way or the other. You can thank Intel Israel for the backdoors and Taiwan Semiconductor if you use AMD or Qualcomm Snapdragon in your phone or Apple's A12. China is making its own phone CPUs and operating system now, as well as server CPUs. Thank you, Israel. Microsoft Israel will assist on Windows machines, of course. Intel's deeply embedded Core, or DEC, running its own independent Linux-based operating system gives the people that matter the full access they need. Ask Christopher Domas and God Mode unlocked. All hardware is backdoored in this manner. All these newfangled robots and drones will pour out to clean up any Americans still in love with their firearms. Hint hint, your Barrett 50 will not save you. Welcome to the jungle. Despite the believability of the above scenario, I remain the eternal optimist that bright young colonels and romantic Americans not completely sold out will pin the flag and US Constitution to their chests and wait on in to save the day. But then, I've had a lot of coffee today. The same people that set up the Bretton Woods financial system post-World War II, their spiritual sons and daughters, IMF and World Bank aficionados, they are setting up this new economic system as we speak. And just as the founders post-war of the IMF and World Bank and the UN, Harry Dexter White and Henry Morgenthau, were high-level Soviet assets, I guess I don't have to say it, do I? We'll be discussing communist Soviet penetration of the highest levels of the Roosevelt administration shortly. You're going to see how we got to this point very soon, and you'll understand just how high and for how long the United States has been penetrated, and its well-meaning energy co-opted in the setting up of the new world financial system, and the moving of policing and military operations first from the UK, then to the US, and finally home again, jiggity-jig, Greater Israel. And China in all of this? China can barely feed itself or water itself, and its corrupt joke military leaders are dumping their Chinese currency as fast as they can and putting it in their London, Swiss and New York bank accounts, as are the thieves over at the Chinese Communist Party. Spare me! China is totally dependent on US tech to keep their big boy distributor, ZTE, in business. And one stroke of the US presidential pen and it is...
Game over, man. It's game over.
China, 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 China. They want to make a deal. The question is, do I want to make a deal?
Hence why Israel feeding China stolen US tech is so important. Hence why Trump just gave Microsoft Israel the Pentagon Cloud Security contract. Hence why so much pressure is being put on Trump to make him do Israel and Russia's bidding. Not to mention China. You can always count on old friends like Bibi for support when times are tough. And if they're not tough enough, be sure Bibi will make them tougher so you remember who the boss is. Now they say King Bibi is on the way out. Well, I'll believe it when I see it, and trust me, I'll be dancing a very merry Irish jig.
You don't have to ask me twice to do a Dutch jig. But why?
Some say who cares, the rape will continue just more gently. Well, we'll see. But I understand where you're coming from. Make no mistake, the United States is totally subverted and run by Israel and its networks out of the City of London. Totally. The Pentagon is the only government department they don't have full control over. And as we know, that may be at an end with the issuance of the Pentagon Cloud contract to Israel. The US and its national security are not penetrated. It's been occupied. And if we want to play the 4D chess game, I can't believe I'm saying this, then maybe Trump deliberately handed Israel the security contract controversially in the hope it would stir up interest in the subject and bring out Microsoft Israel's control of Microsoft Cloud Security and Windows. But let's not hold our breath on that one, I'm just tossing it out there for fun. Regardless, whatever the tactical details, a new well-defined Cold War 2.0 to keep us all under the various forms of the War Powers Act worldwide will continue to gain momentum regardless of who's there, right or left-wing politics. To create a credible enemy, they have to be able to compete in technology, or Congress is not going to give you another $1 trillion socialist handout to the US military-industrial complex to stimulate the US high-tech sector and the US economy overall. And this is the game.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
And it may sound contradictory, but I am all for that $1 trillion handout to keep America strong. I just want every other country, especially Israel, cut off from the pig trough and made to beg for US taxpayer-funded tech publicly. To see current events more clearly, start with the greatest goal that elites are most wanting. It's not money and power per se, it's control. Money, access to resources, they follow with control. Get control in all its forms, the rest follows. Number one, control numbers of humans, especially ones that think for themselves. Wars in general and a drug war and a police state are good for that. Number two, control thoughts which can lead to physical action. And number three, control physical movement itself. This is all pretty much counterinsurgency 101, straight out of the Tavistock Institute and the US Army War College. With the coming robot and drone revolution and AI, they don't need us. Maybe 400 million pets to be kept for sexual pleasures. Every cliche Hollywood movie on AI and robots is literally coming true and about to land in our living rooms, if it's not already here.
Alexa, are you recording us and sending it to the NSA?
So once you get that, you'll get the overall strategic picture of what's going on, control, regardless of right-left politics. After all, Obama was worse than Bush. The terrorist threat gave them great movement control and tracking technology, and most of it came out of Israel and was tested in the Middle East. They're filling China up with it right now. It's getting tested, and tested well. Now they have that basic infrastructure set up, it's time for a Cold War 2.0 social control mechanism to truly stimulate the high-tech innovation sector and reach for the stars, perhaps literally. And build the UN Habitat Smart Cities program with the attached Internet of Things and worldwide program of New Age communitarian gulags with robots and smart light bulbs. It should greet you with little surprise that the smart gulag system should be designed in Israel and manufactured in China. And the new rule set to govern this system, communitarian law, the synthesis of capitalism, communism, should also come from the same stock. That would be former Israeli Special Forces and Israeli military intelligence Amitai Etzioni, real name Werner Falk, originally from Germany. He hides out in Georgetown University, not Tel Aviv currently. Let Nikki Rapana explain a little about communitarian law and community policing. This is 4 minutes, just a taste. Nikki Rapana and her partner have done fantastic real research, not Google alerts, not Googling or searching in a search engine, real hardcore research to bring you this material, and for that she is owed a great debt.
Community policing is a program that was introduced under the Clinton administration. It was authorized and funded under the Violent Crime Act of 1994. Community policing is a theory that individual rights have broke down the moral fiber of society. It's a hodgepodge of every ideology and every religion on the planet, pretty much. There's a piece of everything in there. They're trying to make it a fair and a just world for everyone, but for no one in particular. And basically what the law does at the national and international level is protect global trading rights over national and local businesses. And at the local level, communitarian law balances the rights of the individuals against the rights of the community at large. The new police are targeting average people. First, they're targeted in the meetings by the local stakeholders that'll come. They'll invite the citizens to come in and identify the problems in the neighborhood or how they're going to build a better community. It's all tied into rebuilding community. It's the same MO in Iraq as it is in the United States. A small group of paid facilitators, professional advisors come to the community and they start holding what they call either stakeholder meetings or visionings, and they want to talk about the future, and they want everyone at the meetings to help them identify the values that they'd like to maintain in the community and what the standards are in the community. And in these meetings, They also ask people to identify problems in the neighborhood, and so this is your opportunity, if you're that kind of a person, to go in and talk about that neighbor down the street that is always working on his car, or he's got a loud motorcycle that his friends are always coming over at 2 o'clock in the morning. I've heard a lot of different petty little neighborhood complaints come up in these meetings, and then they go from that point to maybe they need to investigate this person, investigate their friends a little bit more. I kind of narrowed it down to you're either an asset or you're a problem. And then if you're identified as an asset, then they'll have your specific skills and abilities. They have interviews that were designed by Jody Kurtzman and John McKnight at Northwestern University, Evanston, Illinois. It's an 11-page interview of questions, very in-depth questions, whether you know how to bathe a 6-month-old baby, if you can take care of elderly people, can you cook, can you sew, can you clean, can you vacuum, can you wash windows. It's very detailed. It also has your fraternal and political affiliations, your personal information, your home address, your age, any dreams or desires you might have about starting a business. It's very detailed. That is part of the database. They've got numerous ways of gathering the data. It's been a top priority since the 92 Declaration at Rio came out. You'll have absolutely no private feelings, no private thoughts, no private hopes, no private dreams. The types of information that they want, it just gets more invasive with every program that I see.
We see this actualized in the former Prime Minister of Israel's comments in Look magazine. This is insightful. Ben-Gurion is quoted, "The image of the world in 1987 is traced in my imagination. The Cold War would be a thing of the past. Internal pressure of the constantly growing intelligentsia in Russia for more freedom and the pressure of the masses for raising their living standards may lead to a gradual democratization of the Soviet Union. On the other hand, the increasing influence of the workers and farmers and the rising political importance of men of science may transform the United States into a welfare state with a planned economy. Western and Eastern Europe will become a federation of autonomous states having a socialist and democratic regime. With the exception of the USSR as a federated Eurasian state, all other continents will become united in a world alliance at whose disposal will be an international police force. All armies will be abolished and there will be no more wars. In Jerusalem, the United Nations will build a shrine of the prophets to serve the federated union of all continents. This will be the seat of the Supreme Court of mankind to settle all controversies among the federated continents, as prophesied by Isaiah." Along with the plan for Greater Israel, of course, is the complete socialization of the United States into a giant welfare state as espoused, allegedly, by current Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the Finks Bar in Tel Aviv in 1990. If we get caught, they will just replace us with persons of the same cloth. So it does not matter what you do. America is a golden calf, and we will suck it dry, chop it up, and sell it off piece by piece until there is nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state that we will create and control. Why? Because it is the will of God, and America is big enough to take the hit so we can do it again and again and again. Boy, what are the chances? The entire UN Habitat Smart Cities program will be filled with Israeli technology currently being tested in China and coming to a city near you sooner than you think. Boy, and it's been designed and implemented by Israeli military intelligence under their Unit 8200 and Talpiot programs, in cahoots with Russia and China. This modern-day high-tech kibbutzim high-rise gulag system with fibre-optic 5G internet will have a whole new rule set or legislation at the local and national level that will eventually be worldwide. Communism! Oh, sorry, no. Communitarianism. I get them mixed up sometimes, I apologise, yes. Communitarianism, aka communism with flowers and a smart light bulb. And maybe a robot to talk to as you die of loneliness, childless and alone, because getting married is a construct of white privileged males, don't you know?
Hello, Peppa.
Hello.
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 Oh dear.
We could do this forever.
I know we could.
And where did all that come from? Boy, what a coincidence! That comes from former Israeli military intelligence special forces Gulag commander Werner Falk, aka Amitai Etzioni, a big Jewish Kabbalah fan or Jewish mysticism. Boy, another coincidence. So many. And he and the gang are hanging in Georgetown University, USA, not Tel Aviv, after all. It pays to be close to the super welfare state you and your New Age Bolshevik friends are creating. And we even have Israel's Unit 8200 pretending to be the mysterious Japanese inventor of Bitcoin and crypto. I think we all know where it came from. What joys we'll have, all on the universal wage system, aka the dole, getting therapy and communitarian law lessons from our robot butlers / kibbutzim overseers. I'm calling mine Winston, by the way. Playing virtual reality computer games to keep us amused and our aggressive tendencies channeled appropriately.
God damn, where'd these guys come from? Nice audio design. Hey, Vonderhart! You're talking about a 4x4, like probably 700-800 horsepower coming down that mountain. Huh?
They made a movie about it, actually, back in the 1970s, around the same time they released Network. That movie was called Logan's Run. It was one of my favourite movies of all time as English actress Jenny Agutter got a gear off. But the social lesson was not lost on me, even at that young and tender, sweet and innocent age. In the new perfect world, humans live with an AI supercomputer under a domed city.
Logan 5. Do you identify this object?
Negative. Question, what is it?
That is the name of the object, Ankh. Do you identify this word, sanctuary?
Negative.
Sanctuary is a pre-catastrophe code word used for a place of immunity.
It's all smart city, 1970s style without the iPhone. It's a perfect world of order, run by the numbers, rational, ordered, the pure Luciferian scientific rationalist logic of numbers. You can do whatever you want, any pleasure you want, but there is one catch. You can't grow old. At the age of 30 you go to Carousel. There you are liquidated, but assured you will be born again, one for one. A crystal in your right hand visually tells what stage you're at. Some people run. They are called runners. It's Logan's job to catch them and kill them. He's also given the job of infiltrating Sanctuary, a small rebellion of domed city dwellers running for the outside world. This is our future. Logan's Run, 1970s style. Waiting for a remake in an age of Hollywood desperation for remakes. 7 times they went to remake it, and 7 times they stopped production. Why? Because you'll catch on real quick. That's the future, in kitschy 1970s garb. And it would make a great remake. The murderous Bolsheviks started it all back in 1917. A bunch of Polish and Russian communists and Marxist-Leninists who not only took over Russia and the Ukraine, they took over Palestine and have made it home base for Kibbutzim number 1 ever since. Except for those damn pesky Arabs. Along the way, they took over America and made New York Moscow on the Hudson. like they made Tel Aviv, Moscow on the Mediterranean. I mean, a goodly portion of the main players, including Leon Bronstein, aka Leon Trotsky, left for the Bolshevik bloodbath in 1917 from New York. Food for thought. Benjamin Netanyahu's father, a Polish historian, real name Milikowski, was the notorious Zionist gangster Zeev Jabotinsky's personal assistant in New York in 1940. Jabotinsky, of course, was from where? Of course he was from Russia. You're getting the picture, aren't you? Nothing to see here. They're all based in New York. What's going on? Will the BBC make a documentary exploring simple facts of history and asking the right questions? The internationalist Trotskyite Bolsheviks want their worldwide kibbutz, and they want it now. Designed in Israel, manufactured in China. Just one big happy family. I wonder if anyone's told Donald about this. In fact, I wonder if anyone told you about this. It's just simple history. Stringing it together isn't hard. With China and Russia being enemy number one of America and the so-called free world, it's a little strange, don't you think, that a simple Google search of Israel, China, technology appears beyond the capabilities of all the mainstream media and alt media pundits. Do you not find that almost impossible to believe? How could you miss it? And then there are the think tanks and military forums. Nothing, nada, not a peep about America's greatest ally, deep in bed with America's greatest enemies. Have you worked it out yet? Have you read the script? Have you seen this movie before? Mark my words, this artificial little bar fight is there simply to bring on the new Cold War and the deployment of politically reliable robots, drones, and AI. The predatory banking and financial class of the Rothschild East India Trading Company cannot keep the colonial territory peasants in line with an unstable local managerial class. And Rothschild's had enough of unstable assets. Bring on the robots and the AI. That will require a scary war footing to make sure it is well funded on all sides, and then, at the appropriate time, they roll them out and go door to door. Remember, you're not going to get the designers and fabricators to do this, to commit suicide, unless you have a credible story that, China and Russia have got robots. I mean, wow, we can't be left behind. We've got to have robots and drones too. That's why there has to be a Cold War 2.0. At the same time, the insiders, the managers from all over the world, part of this trading guild, linked by ancient symbolism, handshakes and dreamy, wafty delusions of a shared chosen DNA from ancient Egyptian alien pyramid builders. No, I am not joking, they really believe this stuff. Read Chariots of the Gods and the Old Testament and the movie Alien Covenant.
What did he say? What did he say? I told him you wanted to live forever. He asked why. Do you see this man? My company built him from nothing. I made him. And I made him in my own image so that he would be perfect. So that he would never fail. I deserve this. Because you and I, we are superior. We are creators. We are gods. And gods never die.
Well, this ragtag bunch of the rich and shameless meet in Davos and Bilderberg post-robot rollout, clink their champagne glasses and breathe a huge sigh of relief. The work of ages is completed. The mass of the lumpen proletariat are in cages under robot AI supervision in their cool and snazzy smart gulag baby cribs where they can't hurt themselves or each other. There they will die, childless and alone, a most civilized and technologically efficient job well done.
And our children will live, Mr. Beale, to see that perfect world in which there's no war or famine, oppression or brutality. One vast and ecumenical holding company for whom all men will work to serve a common profit, in which all men will hold a share of stock, all necessities provided, all anxieties tranquilized, all boredom amused.
I have seen the face of God.
You just might be right, Mr. Beale.